So here's a few things to consider before starting just browsing all over online. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Phoenix and I'm a real estate agent in the Greater Vancouver area and Fraser Valley in British Columbia, Canada. Today's video, we're going to go over everything you need to know about buying a home in British Columbia. Buying a home is probably the largest purchase that you will make in your entire life. It is for the majority of people. And this is why it can seem extremely scary and daunting, especially when you really don't know much about the home buying process. So this is why I'm making that video. Keep listening and give this video a thumbs up if you're considering on buying a home in the future. Step 1 is deciding if you are ready for home ownership. There's a lot of responsibilities that comes along with it. So you have to consider the overall investment of the home purchase, as well as you actually have to find a place that you want to live in and be willing to, spend some money to fix up here and there down the road, as houses do wear and tear and they do need maintenance. This is quite different from being in a rental, as the landlord usually takes care of all of the maintenance that the rental has. So usually, I did this. Before I even knew anything, I started to browse a bunch of homes online, scroll through everything, and this is where you can get your hopes up. You don't even know your pre-approval yet. Anywho, so here's a few things to consider before starting just browsing all over online. Where can you afford to buy a house? Can you afford to buy a single family home in downtown Vancouver? Or do you need to move outwards to Coquitlam, like Maple Ridge or Walnut Grove area? What are your options for your budget? So what kind of home can you get? What are your hell yeses and hell no's when it comes to your property? Well, what are your absolute musts in order to purchase this property? And what are your nope, can't do it? Maybe you're scared of heights and you're I'm not gonna live in a high-rise apartment because I just don't wanna look out of the 14th floor windows every day. And that's totally fair. But you need to know these things before you even start the home buying process. And you might learn more as you go and tour around other homes also. Are you okay with the risk of purchasing a house? As it is a large investment and it is solely your responsibility. Speaking of responsibilities, are you ready for that responsibility? Knowing and understanding what is involved in purchasing a home is step 1 of your journey, of your home buying journey. Step 2, I would say, is finding a realtor. When you are buying a home, realtors cost you nothing. The seller pays the realtor's commission, so therefore they are a free, experienced professional in that industry to you. I believe that having a realtor guide you through the home buying process, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, is kind of a necessity. This way you are fully protected throughout the entire process. We are there to help assist you and guide you in the home buying process. There should definitely be no pressure from the realtor to make you buy a home sooner than you are ready. However, we are there to answer any of your questions and concerns. Step 3 would be to find your mortgage broker. Now, most realtors do have 1, 2, 3, or 4 mortgage brokers that they work with, and we can refer one to you. Maybe you want a local one so you can go visit them, or if you're cool with just chatting on the phone, then there's also that option as well. You definitely need to find a mortgage broker though, as we do need to get you a pre-approval before we even go view homes. Personally, I recommend a mortgage broker over your bank, over any bank. Say you're with TD. I recommend that you speak with a mortgage broker or a mortgage specialist. This way you can guarantee that you're going to get the best rates possible. So once you pick a mortgage broker, usually they will give you a light pre-approval, maybe in the $700,000 to $800,000 ballpark range. And then after this, usually it's a 10-minute conversation over the phone. They'll ask you for a handful of paperwork. And so over the next week, I would recommend gathering that all up and submitting it right away. And this way your pre-approval is solid. Also, in some cases in a competitive market, having a pre-approval actually makes you more attractive to the seller, as they know that you can afford to buy their property. So if you are in a multiple offer competition, it could give you a little boost in their books. So step 4 is going to be to confirm your down payment, the amount of money you do have to put towards this purchase. This will be discussed with your mortgage broker. However, it's extremely important for us as realtors to also know where you stand with that. And here's why. In BC, there's minimum down payment rules for houses. So you need a minimum of 5% down payment of any home up to $500,000. If you are buying a home over $500,000, you need a minimum of 10% down payment. However, you can put 5% down payment up till $500,000, and then the amount after that, you can put 10% down. Now, if you are buying a home for over $1 million, straight across the board, you need 20% down. That is the minimum they will take for a purchase over $1 million. The amount that the bank is willing to lend you, plus your down payment, so the chunk of money you have to put down on the house, will be your maximum purchase price for a property. Step 5, I like to discuss the closing costs of the property. So exactly how much money it costs to close a deal on top of the purchase price. A lot of buyers, like I said, especially first-time home buyers, have not gone through this process before, so I don't like there to be any hidden fees during this process. That way, when it comes to closing and you're dealing with your lawyers and they're divvying up all the fees, you're like, oh, where did this fee come from? Where is this couple grand coming from? So make sure you go over that with your realtor. In short, here are a couple of the fees that you might come across when you're purchasing a house. We have the home inspection fees, appraisal fees, a notary or lawyer fee. I suggest going with a lawyer, as they can help you with legal stuff, whereas notaries can't. You might need a survey certificate, property transfer tax, the property tax, whether it's been paid or not on the home and up until when. So sometimes you have to balance that out throughout the year. If you're purchasing the house, say in April, and they've already paid the taxes all the way up to, June or something, then you have to divvy that up. Utility adjustments and maintenance fees also, potential move-in fees for strata, or special levies that are coming up. You also might have to get additional home insurance on your mortgage if you are a first-time home buyer and you're not putting down 20%. So that's an additional cost to, on top of everything else. I'm going to make a whole other video talking about all of these costs eventually, but here's just like a little, breakdown for you. So step 6 will be to know your exemptions. Sometimes you can save money here and there. So with first-time home buyers, you can save your property transfer tax on everything up to $500,000, and then you can go between $500,000 and $550,000, and it'll be like a sliding scale for how much you can save. There's a GST new home rebate that you should know about also if you're looking for a pre-sale or a new build. I can also make a separate video for these as well. I know it's a lot of information to take in. Step 7 will be to prioritize your needs and wants. Make a list of your needs, but then also make a list of your wants. Like, you might need a big kitchen, but a want would be to have like an island that can seat 6 in it, right? So make a list of those. But we also need to be realistic about our budget. So this is kind of where the needs and wants come in. Sometimes our budget is a lot lower than we expect, but as a human who has invested in real estate, I always believe it is a good time to invest in real estate if you can afford it. So say you were like hoping to get a single family home, but all your budget can reach right now is a townhouse. I personally do think townhouse, great investment still. And that might be where we have to be a little more realistic and say, okay, we can't get the 5-bedroom detached home right now. Let's settle for a 3-bed, 1-den townhouse, and in a couple years, build up enough equity, save a little bit more money, and hopefully we can get into a single family home. Step 8, pretty straightforward and easy. Let's narrow down the search and get out and view some properties. Step 9, writing that offer. Because we found the house that you were looking for. You found your dream home, and this is where you can go to your agent and be like, hey, I want to write an offer on that place today. Let's get it. But let's not overpay for it. We will make sure that the contract is legally binding and that you as a buyer are protected. Step 10 is kind of your step, but mostly your realtor step. So this is where sometimes the offer gets accepted right away with the seller if it's a good one and you guys really wanted it and went in strong with your first price. However, right now we're seeing a lot of negotiation, so there'll be some back and forth. Maybe it could be even just with closing dates and moving in dates. But this is where the buyer's agent and the seller's agent will negotiate on their client's behalf, but obviously keep you in the loop as a good realtor would. Step 11 will be subject removal. So any subjects that you guys put in your contract to protect yourself, such as financing or property inspection, now it's time to remove those. Usually those, you get like a week to get everything sorted out, and then there's a different form that has to be signed in order to release those subjects. Now, if the subjects don't get released by this date, then the contract is null and void because there were subjects on there that have to be removed by a specific date. So once your subjects are removed, you usually have to pay your deposit within 24 hours of that. This just secures your new home for the future. And this deposit and like the amount of the deposit and everything will be discussed with your realtor prior to even signing the contract. And this way you know how much cash you need to have in a check once the subjects are removed, and you usually put it in trust to the brokerage that your agent is working under. So step 12, after all of this is said and done, usually you need to choose a notary or a lawyer. Your realtor will have a few contacts that they can refer you to if you don't already have a lawyer that you work with. Now, this isn't a huge rush unless your closing is in like 3 weeks, then yes, we need to get them notified and all the documents sent to them and everything put together. However, most closings are within a couple months, maybe even 6 months down the road. And in that case, the lawyer will become more a part of it closer to the closing date where you sign all the papers. However, it is good to get in touch with them beforehand just so they know that you bought a house. With the lawyer, you will know the exact closing costs. So like we were talking about before, all the adjustments for the utilities and taxes and strata fees and everything, that'll all be adjusted with the lawyer at the time of the signing. Step 13 is, completion and closing and moving in. The exciting part of the process. Well, looking at homes is exciting too, but moving in is pretty sweet. So once you move in, usually your realtor does one last walk around. Also, I will mention that most people do not get their homes professionally cleaned when they're leaving the house. So if you do want the seller to pay for a professional cleaning, make sure you have your realtor add that into the contract. Also, it's not a necessity, but it never hurts to change the locks when you move into a new house. You never know who used to live there. So just in case. Alright guys, that's all I have for this video. I hope you found it very helpful, breaking down the steps of the home buying process. Please leave comments down below about what videos you would like me to do next, what topics you want me to touch on. And yeah, if you did like it, please hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll be back next week with another video. Bye.